this pharaoh which is mentioned in the Holy Quran, apparently there were more than one which faced Hazrat Musa. Could you kindly throw some light?
Yes, there are two. Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was born and raised in the house of one pharaoh, but the pharaoh which confronted him and rejected him and tried to destroy him and Israelites along with him was his son. It was Ramses II, as far as I remember, who confronted and who was ultimately drowned. Now, some scholars say that in fact he was born after Hazrat Moses was adopted, because that Pharaoh who adopted him, whose wife adopted him, was a childless Pharaoh. Once Hazrat Moses was adopted, and it was under a special design by God, that the craving for a child reached such a height in the bosom of the mother, of the wife of Pharaoh, that she wanted to have some child. That is how the life of Hazrat Moses was saved. Otherwise, Pharaoh could not have shown any sympathy towards him and would have permitted him to be slaughtered like other children of Israel. So that purpose having been served once, then Allah bestowed other children to the same Pharaoh. Maybe through the wife, the same wife who adopted Hazrat Moses, or some other wives. But children, of course, were born later on. So Hazrat Moses was raised in a house where he was a foreign child to that house, both as race and both as having no blood relationship. And he must have been looked down upon by the real son of Pharaoh, who was raised like the sons of royalty are. So he must have felt extremely jealous to the love shown by the mother to this special child, who was so innocent, so pious looking and so holy right from the childhood, that he exerted some influences. Also, he was a very strong and healthy child, very powerful. This is why that incident of somebody having been killed with just one box of Hazrat Moses is mentioned in the Holy Quran. That he was also very strongly built. So this royal child could not fight with him either, because he was too strong for him. So he must have been burning inside, and he got his chance when his father died and he ruled the land, and Hazrat Moses either migrated at that time or just before that happened, but he could not lay his hands to him. Now imagine then the situation of Hazrat Moses. He of course knew this Pharaoh who had come into power later on, and he knew his malintentions as well. When Allah sent him to address that Pharaoh on his behalf, so the fears that Hazrat Moses expressed, as mentioned in the Holy Quran, are quite understandable. He said, apart from other things, I am said to have killed one of them, and they would be after my blood. And you are asking me to convey the message of prophecy. Even if I had not killed anyone, that should have been enough for them to turn them to turn them hostile towards me. The message of prophet by itself is enough to turn people hostile. But on top of that, he inadvertently had killed someone from among those people. So he argued with God that I am not the right person to be chosen. So Allah told him, I would save you. It's for me to save you, I promise you, don't worry about it. Then he gave him certain signs to first make him believe. that it was Allah who was speaking, it was not just some voice from within or some hallucination or something. So when he saw those signs, then he was reaffirmed. And then he had all the courage to address Pharaoh, despite his malintentions, despite his loud threats and everything. He never flinched during his audience with the Pharaoh. So that is perhaps, what did you say about the Ramses II? No, perhaps about it. That is the Ramses II, which met that ultimate disastrous end which is mentioned in the Holy Quran. And it was his father, who was a better man than this boy, who raised Hazrat Moses in his house. Just a minute. Yes, please.
I just want to add, as far as I have read and I have seen the royal mummies also.
Pardon?
As far as I have read the Ramses II, it was the Hazrat Moses was brought in the house of Ramses II, and it was his son Minfatah, in whose Minfatah.
I see. That's right. Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think you are right.
Yes, sir.
But I'll check up.
Yes,
Now that you have mentioned, yes,
Yes.
it was Ramses II who brought up Hazrat Moses, and in whose house he was raised, and it was Minfatah, his son, who confronted him ultimately and was drowned. Is that right?
Yes.
Is there another person who remembers his Bible better? Is it mentioned in the Bible or just...
In the book also, sir, and the other thing, sir, but when I went to see once to Cairo,
Yes.
at that time, nowadays they have abandoned that room. There were a room separated, royal mummies.
So you have observed,
Yes,
seen
I
the
was
mummy.
there. Royal mummy, they were
Right.
lying Ramses II,
Right.
and then I saw one Arab, you see, just spitting at the...
At Minfatah. Right. Joy sir, what did you want to say? Did you want to support him?
I want to support him that as far as I read it, he was Ramses II.
Ramses, yes, correct. In whose house he was raised, and it was
His son was Pharaoh was drowned.
Minfatah.
His second son was drowned.
Minfatah. Are you sure it was Minfatah? Yes.
I have so read
Quite right. Yes, sir. Quite right.